Katrina, that's our Sunday sport.
Good to have you back.
It's good to be back.
An international sumo competition is heading to Australia for the first time in years. Stars of the sport will give audiences a unique insight into ancient Japanese traditions.
Festival Hall, famously shaken up by rock royalty. And now slammed by sumo wrestling royalty.
Hi everyone, see you soon in Australia.
Hiroki Sumi, 260 kilograms, two-time Japanese divisional champ. Next Friday's headline act, determined to convert us to his religion.
It's really enjoyable for me to show sumo around the world, showing traditional Japanese culture.
Also coming, Rami Elgazar, 240 kilograms, Egyptian star of the American sumo circuit. You win by pushing your opponent to the ground or out of the ring.
If you hear the impact, the collision, it's like two cars hitting each other. You can hear the sound, you can feel the intensity.
It's a way of life, it's something to be celebrated.
And you appreciate the art behind it.
The history in this sport, you get really excited day after day when you know more about sumo.
Nick McCallum, 7 News.
Well, these days you need at least 100 hours of practice, but it used to be much easier what it took to get your driver's licence over the decades.
And what will the weather do over the next few days? I'll have the forecast coming up next.
Stream 7 News anytime, live and on demand on 7plus. And with 7news.com.au, you'll know the news now.
For anyone turning 16 in 2024, it's time to start thinking about getting a learner's permit and hitting the road. First-time drivers and their parents now have to jump through a lot of hoops, but it wasn't always such a test.
We're ready to start the engine, so we first make sure that the gear lever is in neutral and the handbrake is on.
A driver's licence, a rite of passage. The first issued in Brisbane in 1910, when you were far more likely to cross paths with a horse and buggy than a car, but the state's first recorded fatal crash changed all that. From 1914, if you passed a basic police test, you were good to go.
Life is great in the Sunshine State.
It pretty much remained that way for decades, until 1970 and the provisional licence, the P-plate. A year to prove yourself worthy of a full licence. But then, as now, young drivers were seriously overrepresented in the crash statistics. It was suggested some young drivers be given psych tests, but it was impractical.
I don't think necessarily a psychiatrist would be any better at this, say, than a competent constable working in the traffic department.
By the 80s, learners would need a mandatory 6 lessons with a qualified instructor. It led to years of criticism, much from instructors that it was too easy to get your licence.
The 10 kilometres over the speed limit in itself will not fail the driving test.
By 2003, the RACQ was calling on the government to require learners to spend at least 50 hours behind the wheel.
At night, in the wet, on high-speed roads in the country.
In 2007, sweeping changes, still in effect today, learners' permits at 16 and 1 year and 100 hours logged before sitting your Ps.
They're not there to be popular, they're there to be effective.
A big commitment for learners and their parents, and one being reviewed by the state government. But before you steel your nerve and put your son or daughter in the driver's seat, you may want to call your insurance company. Some, like the RACQ, AAMI, Bingle and Suncorp, automatically cover your child, while others, such as Budget Direct, require you to list your learner on your policy. If there's one saving grace, it's that today only about a third of learners go for a manual licence.
Confidence will come with experience. Experience will also show how much other people's safety depends upon the way we learn and apply the principles of good driving practices.
Weather now, and Tony, a bit more sunshine than expected this weekend.
Yes, Katrina, it's been a beautiful weekend across the southeast. Plenty of blue sky on offer after Friday's rain cleared away pretty rapidly. Still a couple of very isolated showers around this afternoon, mostly for areas south of Ipswich and east of Wivenhoe Dam. It's been a hot one, a few spots pushing up to 33 degrees inland, while the Gold Coast and Redlands Coast reach tops of 31 degrees. Across Queensland today, storms out over the Maranoa and Warrego. Recent warnings have now been cancelled, and plenty of rain in the tropics with this monsoon trough. Looking ahead, that monsoon will hang around for a while, probably a couple of weeks at least. Tomorrow, more rain in the tropics, and we should see a few more showers starting to build along the southern parts of the Queensland coast. Now, long term, we will need to keep an eye out for a potential low out in the Coral Sea. Just something to watch out for now. Checking the capital city forecast, Sydney looking relatively cool, 24 degrees, a few drops of rain on the way. Canberra just 20 degrees. Adelaide and Perth pushing up into the mid to high 30s though. For northern Queensland, a severe weather warning is current between Tully and Townsville, with heavy rain set to pick up again from tomorrow morning. Heavy showers on the forecast for Cairns and Townsville, lighter in Mackay. Over southern districts, showers picking up along the coast and ranges yet again, especially from late morning onwards. Bundaberg and Hervey Bay around the 30-degree mark. In the southeast, showers also starting to develop near the coast in the morning. Then they should spread inland around lunchtime with the odd rumble of thunder. Then you could get a few drops of rain pretty much anywhere through to the end of the day. A touch cooler as the cloud thickens up again. Tops around 29 degrees for the Bayside, Oxley and Springfield tracking for 30 degrees. Bode's a breezy day on Moreton Bay, southeast winds at 15 to 20 knots. In Brisbane, a few sunny breaks early, then that cloud thickens and brings a few of those passing showers from late morning onwards. 23 overnight, up to a top of 30 degrees. And looking ahead, it's a bit hard to split the difference day on day here, but we are expecting more of those showers right through the course of the next week. A cool at 28 degrees on Tuesday. In Ipswich, it should be wettest in the afternoons, the odd rumble of thunder in there too, most likely into Thursday, possibly Friday. Gold Coasters' muggy nights continue with maximums hovering around the 29-degree mark from Wednesday onwards. And on the Sunshine Coast, 29s and 30s from Wednesday, and you can't rule out a passing shower or two each day right through the next week. Katrina, this unexpected wet summer keeps on rolling on.
It keeps us guessing. Thanks, Tony. That is all from us this Sunday. Thank you for your company. Updates throughout the evening. But for now, from all the team, have a great night.